evening and welcome you all to this wonderful discussion on Teachers for Change movement on sustainability education today as a part of Rise World Summit 23. Um, there are different saying that the teachers play a lot of important role in shaping the educator as well as the students. What we see today and what we want to uh, give them a direction for tomorrow is entirely the teacher's role that we feel, and hence this entire discussion, the topic is going to be sustainability education. So entire discussion will be pivoted to that. So uh, so to take that ahead, I would like to welcome Eric. Eric is going to do a welcome address for all of us. Let me give a little bit information on Eric. Eric Malamgab has been associated with Council General of Sweden in Mumbai as Council and Deputy Head of Mission since August 2021. He completed his Swedish diplomatic training program in 2019. He joined the Swedish Ministry for Foreign Affairs in 2016 and has since been working in different positions at the Department of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. I would like to welcome Eric and please do the set the key for this particular roundtable. Thank you so much.
Welcome to have you here today on this roundtable based on the theme Teachers for Change. This is a continuation of the Nobel Prize Teachers Summit 2022, which was held in Stockholm, inviting teachers from all around the world, and also the Nobel Prize Teachers Summit Hub that was arranged together with Idobro in December this year in Mumbai. Blah, December last year. You understand what I mean. Basically, the overall thought of the Nobel Prize Teacher Summit, which is sponsored from Nobel Prize Education Network and the Swedish Institute. Basically, the Teacher Summit, a conference where teachers get to discuss and raise global issues on themes that affect us all in some way. This is a continuation on this in this spirit. Teaching is one of the toughest jobs, and it's both conceptual and intellectual, it's creative and sequential, and both an art and a science. You must convey knowledge, but also cultivate and nourish the next generation to a class of students who are in the most shapeable and most vulnerable years in their life. You carry a heavy responsibility on your shoulders that makes us a society heavily indebted to you and the work you do. To add to this already difficult task is that you are challenged to teach your students about emerging challenges, new topics that could be very abstract, sometimes multi-layered, but also with some part of maybe political sensitivity to it. Environmental challenges that we face today, whether it's water shortage or heat waves, are very real and something that many of your students might be engaged in. How do you as a teacher take it further from teaching about environmental challenges to sustainability and an interdisciplinary topic about coexistence and nurturing this one earth that we've been given? Also, you have the task of developing teaching strategies for a holistic approach towards a sustainable tomorrow. In the constantly changing world, finding sustainable ways of living is crucial. Everything is intertwined. Sustainability is not only about environmentalism. To achieve a sustainable and better tomorrow for coming generations, it's very much urgent that we work together. A holistic approach is needed, one that considers ecological as well as social and economic dimensions. No aspect of life can be disregarded. What role can teachers play in bringing about change, and how can education be the driving force for a sustainable future? For us, representing Sweden, sustainability is a topic of highest importance. Sweden has been actively involved in adopting the UN Sustainable Development Goals and aims to lead implementation of the 2030 Agenda, both nationally and globally. Additionally, Sweden views gender equality both as a goal in itself and as critical to the achievement of the agenda as a whole. Looking into education, the Sustainable Development Goals are reflected in the Swedish national curriculum, both for school and kindergarten, which states that a great emphasis should be put on environmental and nature conservation issues. No country is truly an island, and for global impact and sustainability matters, cooperation is key. And in this, India is a very much valued partner to Sweden. And the relations between Sweden and India have only become stronger over the years. This year, we celebrate 75 years of our diplomatic ties. And I must also say that we celebrate 10 years of the Consulate General in Mumbai. So that's definitely something to celebrate. So once again, thank you all, and thank Idobro for bringing together this group. I am sure that this will be a very fruitful session of inspirations and learnings that will help you educators to spread the message of a sustainable future. We're looking forward to all possible collaborations that are possible in the future. Just let us know. So thank you everyone, and also congratulations Idobro to the 10 years of the Rise Summit. Well done. Hope you will all have a very fruitful and nice evening.
Thank you so much, Eric, for your valuable inputs. Also for the teachers who are there. There is a huge live audience there right now watching us. Would request everyone to share, your name and your designation, and in one word, what your organization is doing. Can we start from Dr. Suhani?
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sohani Mendonça here, and I am project director at Mendonça Foundation, which is our family foundation. And we have good news is that we've completed 25 years and we are into our 26th year. And we work on various causes, right from education to the tribal children, to working with children who are born with cleft lip palate doing their surgeries. But what we really are working on now is to spread awareness on how to give back to society through our internship, which is a 15-day internship with Mendonça Foundation, especially with the youth. I really want to thank Karen, Shaiva and Dipali and our entire team for putting up such a wonderful initiative and getting us all together on this brilliant roundtable Teachers for Change movement, sustainability education. Thank you, Karen. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suhani. Uh, Dr. Bimal Nath, he is my sir, and I'm really proud that he is there today with us.
Okay, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
So I'm from right now at Doha, Qatar, and this is the MI SPPU Institute of Higher Education. It's a offshore branch campus of Pune University, India. And incidentally, this is the first. I mean, the any university from India has set its campus outside India. So basically, we are here for a year. We launched our program last year, and we started with BA, BSc, BCom, BBA, the 4-year course, and we have a PG courses, and we are moving into launching several other educational curricula, and I mean, our main aim is to cater to the need of the large Asian diaspora here. My institute represents students from 18 nationalities. So I am in charge of this campus as a director, and it has given me a big opportunity to know the students mainly from the Asia who are outside their countries and how they visualize the 21st century's competitiveness in education. And before coming over here, I was in Pune University. I was teaching where I met Deepali long back in my classroom. So I was for 30 years. I was teaching in Pune University. So that's and I'm a basically scientist, a science background. I'm a biologist, and so I had a career of research, 30 years, and still now my lab is active. And that's a small introduction. But my main interest is in the climate change, education. The that drives making competent to tackle climate change, climate challenges, and so on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, Professor Shirin Moti.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening to all
Shirin.
of you. Am I audible, Dipali?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank God for that. So, good evening to all of you. I'm glad to be a part of such an August panel, and thank you to Karen and her team, Dipali, for organizing such a wonderful summit on such a topical theme. I'm Professor Shireen Moti. I teach constitutional law at OP Jindal Global University, which is an institute of eminence. I've been working in the area of access to justice for the last 11 years. I've been achieving scholar and recently was adjudged 50, among the 50 rising stars for my initiative in ESG. I'm an alumnus of OP Jindal Global University as well as Queen Mary University of London. My research focuses on transnational feminism, constitutional law and theory, clinical legal education, and broadly access to justice. So my entire profile is of that of an educationist, and at the core of it are the students. And education is for and amongst the students. Therefore, it is debatable what kind of an education are we delivering at our higher education institutions. I'm looking forward to listening to all the experts on this panel. OB Jindal Global University is a multidisciplinary institute, and our idea is to promote education with the flagship school of Jindal Global Law School. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shirin, for this introduction of yours. Acha Mohinder, Dr. Mohinder, Natarajan, please, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone. Good evening to one and all present here. And I'm Natarajan, and I'm from Chennai. And basically, I'm an environmentalist and the founder of an organization called Puvi Earth Care Solutions. And first of all, thanks to the organizers on coming up with this topic, Teachers for Change movement in sustainable education. Team Idobro and Rice and Aparna and other organizers, kudos to you for coming up with this topic. And about what I'm doing in the field of environment, we teach climate literacy at schools. We also have programs to equip the youth with the green skills to combat climate change and also preparing them for the future green jobs. That's pretty much what we are doing. Basically, I'm an IT professional turned environmentalist, and I've been working on the ground in Chennai in the field of environment and predominantly into solid waste management, bulk waste composting, so that we can reduce the amount of methane generation and spread the word about sustainable development goals and took four goals, so 12, 13, 14, 15: responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land. These are the four goals we focus on. That's a brief introduction. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so I would like to invite Kiran, our today's moderator. Kiran is our director for the Chief Impact Officer for Idobro Impact Solution. She is also convened for Rise World Summit, Rise World Summit, and it is her vision that is coming to picture, and we are celebrating 10 year of this World Summit. Karen, stage is yours.
Um, I'm sure all of you have gone to many panels, and of course, in our audience out there, many of you have heard many panels, right? But this is not a panel, okay? This is a round table, and a round table where we are going to have conversations. So once the introductions are over, that's it. After that, it's all free flowing. So there's not going to be really Q&A as such. We are going to ask you in fact are going to ask us questions. So we are going to be talking together on the issues that we face. And the way it happens at the Rise World Summit is that we follow the 3C methodology, where we actually start with challenges first, because that's the reality, right? Why are we here? If we are to just go on talking about ourselves, we can just go to our websites, we can go to Google, we can share brochures. You don't need to come here, right, to just talk about work. We are here to try and help each other to find out what are those challenges and then move on to the next C to say what are the capabilities? What would it really take, to solve these challenges? What do we have? Or if we don't have, then what is there outside this room that we could perhaps tap or meet and see that would bring together solutions for us to solve these challenges? And last, but perhaps the most critical of all, is how are we going to try and find some way to connect with each other so that we can collaborate, we can share resources, we can share networks, and perhaps even do projects together. Does that sound exciting? Does that sound like something we want to do now? Yes? Absolutely. Thank you very much. So, as I said, we will start first with challenges, right? Each one of you are phenomenally experienced practitioners, academicians, educators. You are right there, in schools, in institutes. What are those challenges that you all face, which we would like to really start unpacking? And also, I want to bring one more point over here, is this, especially in the context of the new NEP, right? Because the NEP 2020 framework, sustainable education has become a very important part of it. We do know that. But just putting something in a policy, and just this morning we had a whole roundtable on talking about policies, right? And just because you have a policy in place does not mean it's just going to happen. It's going to require a lot of work from all of us. But to make that happen and the work to be put in, we need to be aware of the challenges. So I'm going to stop talking now because it's going to be time for all of you to start talking and sharing, because our audience is really waiting to hear from the experts as to what is it that we can start working on. Yeah. So anyone can jump in. There is no Q&A over here. Please come in with the questions or the thoughts that you have when it comes to challenges on sustainability in education. Yes, Dr. Swami, please go ahead. No need, unless there are multiple people talking, there's no need to raise hands. Please just jump in. Yeah, go ahead, please.
My concern, first of all, I am really honored to be a part of this roundtable because all of you all are, amazing, inspiring people. Well, where I am concerned, I am just a speck as compared to you all. So thank you very much for actually listening to me. I have a concern, Karen. I come here with a concern. We have been dealing with youth and we have been dealing with school students for the longest time because we have been supporting the tribal children with their education, and supporting so that, they get educated. Okay. But when we come into our education system is such that where practicality is concerned, it's absolutely in negative. Is a child molded and taught because they spend so many hours in their school, then they spend so many hours in their college, in their universities, yeah, but yet they cannot deal with the realities of life. Every little thing, every little hindrance, like a tiny hindrance, and that's it. That's like the end of the world for them. Yeah, we also have had in our times a lot of hindrances, a lot of challenges, a lot of things. So what is it that this new age gen cannot just take it? Is it because it's such a gizmo kind of a gen that we are seeing, or what is it? So I think this is my concern because we see so many of them going through depression, going through a whole lot of issues, that they go through, even after getting a good education, even after getting a quality education, as we would say. So this is my concern, which I would like to put out to.
Absolutely.
Okay, Karen.
Yeah. No, so I just want to kind of say.
I mean, her question has provoked me, so I think it's a spontaneous reaction, and so I'm jumping. First of all, the thanks Rise Infinity Foundation, Idobro, Karen, and Dipali. She was very instrumental in persuading me. And thanks, I'm privileged and to be on this for having me here. Dr. Swani, this is actually the one of the real challenges as an educator, which I also feel. Actually, for by the since the time we have coined all these 7 SDGs, we have been the the thinking strategies, and basically the teachers and educate how to teach, how to inculcate the whole SDGs to students and all that. But I think we failed to identify the niche, primary, secondary, tertiary, and
Wow.
each one will have a different type of strategies or pedagogy approaches. As a biologist, let me just I mean just share with you, all of you know this, from age 2 to age 7 it is the critical development of the brain. I mean, the very rapid development of the brain. And that time you
Yeah.
get an intuitive learning. I know one of our neighbors here, they're Indians, but they're NRI. So there are two neighbors. One, the child, that picks up whenever finds that one plastic bag is just, thrown, by someone, but not picked up. He will pick up and push it in the dustbin. The other child, the neglect, the parents also neglect. But this child has developed because it's become intuitive learning. So we have to target the KG and let them think about the the PG and post graduation. At the KG level, can we they really inculcate this intuitive learning? They do it. It should be kind of a
Yeah.
reflex. You respond to all these the environmental issues or whatever maybe by a reflex. You do it, and then whole life you won't forget. Whole life you'll be doing it because that is one thing. So niche. So for the secondary education, they become teenage. You become a little bit, the rigidity comes and like kind of a, this, no, kind of a rebellion attitude. Okay, it's happening, fine. What's my, okay, I'll join this team, do this. If you take a study tour, somebody is reluctant, somebody does it just to take a selfie and they come to the media. So they become reluctant. For them, you have to show them a scary statistics. Emotion is very much work in teenage. So you show all these videos and these things and show that the married life is getting affected. The scary statistics and all this, it affects them. At the night they will start thinking, and when you look at tertiary education, like the universities, already they come with a preset mindset. I do not know. I do not have an answer how to deal with them. So I leave it up to the audience, and we have to think about the tertiary level. But anyway, they are very soon going to be the father and grandfather, and so maybe let's talk about the Gen next or with the permitters. And just give me just 1 or 2 minutes, because Swan is the
Dr.
first.
Bima, can we come back to you, please?
Yeah.
I think these are really three very good things that you showed how it is different between all of three. And I think, Swami,
True.
that was a beautiful question. I think that concerns every educator. How do you
Yes.
motivate learning? How do you
Learning.
motivate learners to learn? We need them to learn how to learn. And I think that's the big, big problem, right? Comes in. The second part to that is how do we get them to be concerned about things that are around them, as Dr. Bima gave an example so beautifully, So we definitely need to look at it from a psychological problem. It's not only about, pedagogy, of course, comes into play, but, it starts from psychology. So once you understand that, you can understand the process, the methods, etc., that can come in place. That. So thank you very much. Right. Any other challenges that are there that we could start talking about over here, please?
Yeah, I would like to step in. Already we have the environmental education as part of the curriculum, right? So the challenge is NEP is emphasizing on experiential learning, right? Whereas the educators are not trained or equipped with the necessary skills to teach in an experiential way, right? It used to be the case like 30, 40 years ago or maybe 50 years ago. We all maybe learning in an experiential way. We used to have a period in a weekly twice on how to stitch a kerchief or a towel. That's an experiential learning class. Whereas nowadays that is not there. Since we're talking only environment, it's again, if you're going to give the EVS as the environmental education, then it's the same thing like science or math. That's not, they are not going to internalize it. They're going to prepare it for the exam. So the challenge for the, the educators is how to, make it work, make them do things, how to make them take climate action. That is the challenge the educators are facing these days, and that should be addressed.
Right. Absolutely. That is a perfect word you use. How do you internalize it? I think that's the key, right? Because you can give them enough of material to read, you can give them enough of, things to see. But if they do not feel it from within, as you said, an experiential learning process, you're not going to get them to really understand or accept. And then go to Sohani's point, that challenge will obviously become bigger and bigger for educators to really impart sustainability education. And it's not just sustainability. I think it is, any other subjects as well. You're absolutely right in that.
True. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely. Shirin, Kirtana, would you all like to come in? Any?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll give a little bit of background about myself because context, this is for a little setting the context. So I am Kirtana and I am an MTS at a member of technical staff at VMware. So I work in the IT side, but I'm passionate about sustainability and hence I volunteer with the Global Shapers community. And I am the outgoing curator of the Coimbatore Hub. And one of the things that we are very passionate about in our hub, in our community, is sustainability. And we touch on various aspects of sustainability, but one of the things that we really like doing is reaching out to students because like all of the panel members have said, young minds are easily influenced. So that's what so we want to reach out to young kids, to kids in schools, and start sustainability young, right? Because it's going to be hard to mold adult minds. They're probably lost in the in the hustle of life. They have too many problems to think about sustainability, or that kind of narrative comes in. But for students, starting young would be shaping their lives. And like Dr. Bimaliendu said, they do it involuntarily, right? So that's where so that's where I come from. So we work with schools with sustainability. I think the most important thing is that um, people don't realize, schools especially don't realize the necessity for sustainable education, right? So unless someone approaches them first, they don't think it's a necessity to learn about sustainability. It's part of the curriculum, as Natarajan said, but it's more of it's another subject, and it's not more practical. And I think that, as Mr. Natarajan said, is the biggest challenge.
Natasha's put in the chat, and there are some interesting, what you call it, remarks that we have over there. And I really would encourage all of you to look at them, perhaps, and maybe we can also start bringing those points into the conversation. And, Natasha is that the challenge number one is people's psychology towards waste. They don't think of it as their own problem. And Natasha's been doing such fantastic work in that space. So thank you, Natasha, for bringing that up. And Sunil Sood has been talking about how education models should be created and what they are doing. And very importantly, what he says at the end is, under Mission Sustainable India, we are saying that all 5 dimensions should get equal budget, equal time, equal attention, and equal importance. I think, that's a utopian situation. But yes, we should be working towards that, Sunil. So thank you for putting that out over there. And I think one more which I really would like to call out is what Yasmin spoke about, is concern about student suicide as in quota. I think that is a real challenge. That is not just a challenge, that's a real concern. And it's really sad, right? When we start hearing of our students committing suicide, I mean, at that age, to give up hope, to give up, completely feel that it is totally useless, that my life is meaningless, I think is a reflection on the society that we have become, that we are so disconnected. And I think that's again to go back to what Natarajan said. She'll just last 1 second and I'll come to you. I think what Natarajan said is internalizing it, but also the external support system. They will only internalize it when they realize that, okay, I'm connected to the rest of this world. I am connected to the society around it, right? I am a citizen first. I am a part of something. And I think that's something that has to come along with sustainability education. It's not just a subject, it's a way of living, it's a lifestyle. So yeah, with that, Shirin, please, over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karen, and thank you to all the panelists. Many crucial points have been made from the perspective of sustainability in education and sustainable education. I would like to make two quick points. First is about mental health awareness. So there's this fine balance that we need to strike in our schools, right from primary school to then higher education, where the pressure of education should not overpower the enjoyment of learning. That is what is happening today. There's no balance between excelling in education at the same time enjoying it and not taking the pressure to the extent of committing suicides. Now that is one of the reasons of committing suicides in our country, but also the peer pressure and the fact that you think that there's a lack of support system, be it family, be it friends, be it relatives. So children have to be more connected to society. People who are more connected to society will never take such extreme measures. That's one. So sustainable communities, building sustainable communities within institutions of education is very, very important. That's one. The second thing with respect to sustainability as a subject and translating into our daily lives, I think firstly there has to be priority, and priority stems from the fact that there is funding for these things, because everything is driven by the kind of funds that are available for a particular initiative. Today in educational institutions, sustainability is not being stressed upon much because of the fact that resources are being diverted to other things. Therefore, it is not a priority. Let's make it a priority, and only then will the literature emerge which is friendly enough for everybody to understand. Of course, there's amazing literature on sustainability, but to make it reader friendly, to make it accessible to the masses, is something that has to be taken on priority by educators, by institutions, and only then can we start talking about sustainability education. We have to get our house in order before we can embark on that journey of achieving that goal. Thank you.
Yeah, we have
Thank you.
another
Think
expert
I will
joining.
definitely. Yes.
Yeah,
Evan, right? Yes, yes. So
yeah,
we'll come to
Evin
you in
is
just
there.
2 seconds. We'll come to you in just 2 seconds. Yeah. So, Shirin, just to close your point, I think again here, I think very, very critical thing. And it brings me to the question of what is sustainability in that case, right? What is sustainability education? When we talk of environment, what is the environment we're talking of? Is it only just the physical environment? How does that physical environment impact our mental environment? They are linked, and unfortunately we tend to keep things separate. We say, oh, education about sustainability is only about the physical environment. No, that physical environment has a lot of impact on our students, where they live, how do they travel, what kind of conditions do they travel, what is the climate like. We all know if it is too hot you can't study, if it is too cold schools are shut, if it is raining it will be shut. So definitely sustainability has an impact at every level in our lives, and understanding that is the key to managing mental health as well. And so sustainable education is much bigger, it's much bigger than what it is, than what we think of it as just about the environment and climate. So thank you very much for pointing that out. And yes, we're very pleased to invite yet another expert to our table. Our round table is becoming bigger. Mr. Eben, please, if you can do a very quick and short introduction about yourself and why are you excited to be here with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Karan. So sorry for joining late. I was struggling with the tech challenge. So basically, I as being in the startup ecosystem of India since 2008. So I started building companies, then incubators, and luckily I got an opportunity to work with Nidhi Aayog to build India's first sustainable development goals incubator. So coming there only, like I figured out, okay, there is a need of connecting, a, creating a early pipeline of, or creating awareness among school students, or like early childhood, about sustainability, or like creating sustainable practices. So that's where we formed a school initiative called STG School. I created a curriculum where we can teach sustainability to the kids, like create innovative solutions. We were trying to teach sustainability through creating innovations which can they can come back to climatic change, or they can smaller environmental problems that they face, or like small sustainable practices that they can bring in as solutions for a few of their common problems. So STG School, and then I moved to a bigger picture. Like started working on CSR, where I help corporates to uh, drive their CSR activities in terms of innovative solutions. Like rather doing the regular program awareness structure, getting into innovation, build innovative solutions, or onboarding startups to them, which help to scale the ESG norms of the corporates, basically. But uh, it is directly connected to the sustainability education, where more kids comes to in place with more innovative solutions. So when they started doing something, they learn in a better way. So that's where I come from. Happy to be part of this roundtable, and looking forward. Over to Karan, please.
The profile and the process that we follow at the Rival Summit for our roundtables. So I just want to quickly ask you. We start with challenges. Are there any challenges that you are facing currently that you really would like to have lay on the table so that we could perhaps discuss it and hopefully also find some solutions?
So the biggest challenge, like when it comes to sustainability, like people only think about climatic change, and that's the biggest challenge. uh, because like sustainability education needs in every angle, like starting from livelihood, uh, like bringing on the climatic change, and then their economic, like sustainability, also part of it, creating a better like lifestyle, like sustainable lifestyle is also come in place. So the biggest challenge, like whenever we speak about sustainability, or when we introduce sustainability, mostly people are limited with the knowledge of like climatic change, or the environmental issues. So if we can give an holistic approach to this problem, like to the word sustainability, and like take that into students, will be one bigger challenge I face. Like whether when you meet leaders in the education system, they're limited with this sustainability connecting to climatic change. So maybe like if some of you have a better practice, or better thoughts on the same, like I would like to listen and take that practices to the
Excellent.
schools which I'm working with.
Can I
I
respond
think
to
I
Evin?
think you have reinforced. You have just reinforced what the rest of the experts have been talking about, and so that's really, really shows just how critical and that we are on the dot in terms of what are the challenges. I'm sorry, someone was going to say something. Please come in. Please come in.
Yeah. I'm just responding. I want to respond to Evin. He rightfully says that whenever we talk to students and ask their opinion about the sustainability, most of them they talk about the climate change. Maybe that is the buzzword, and maybe in the media it is more and more being featured. But let me tell you an interesting fact. When I ask, and I keep on doing survey and through my the group of students. So in the Delhi, if you ask the students, like the school and colleges, what is the main sustainability problem? They will say environmental health. Some other place they will say public health. Now it depends on what is affecting them more. So the Delhi, the schools are closed. They cannot breathe the air. So they know that that is one of the problem. They want to live in on an earth where they have the fresh air to breathe in. And the other places, they like I'm from Meghalaya, Shillong. The pollution is not that much of air pollution. So there are lots of because of humidity and rainfall. The other diseases are there. They say the main concern is the public health. So public health, that depends which one to harp on. So that is an interesting this sort of an offshoot. I may say the question that came in my mind. There's the kind of challenges from the last speakers, like experts, the comment. So that is also to deal with, like it differs from ethnic to ethnic group, as a student community, the place to place, and the priority, which they're facing as the challenges. So that is one reaction which I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
just
adding.
like to add one more point to both Mr. Rebin and Dr. B. See, I know, when immediately people get into environment when you say sustainability, but the way I look at it is, at least let them get into something, right? So let them get into sustainability, whether it is zero hunger or no poverty or livelihood or environment, it doesn't matter. Let them first get into the mode of sustainability, and then slowly they can get the bigger picture. So I feel that is okay, even if they think sustainability is environment, because for people the concept sustainability itself is very new. They were all thinking that everything is available, abundant, and it's going to be available forever, right? The resources. So I feel that as long as they start talking about sustainability and looking into it, that itself is a big win for the educators to get them think on that aspect.
Thank you. I think hearing all of you, I think our chat is really filling up like anything. And I do want to pick on one, which is definitely, I have given the heart emoji because Vimla says, would it help to have children have discussions, same as we are having here? Get them to ignite their own efforts. I think it's so important, right? Having free flowing conversations is so important. Yes, we need structured conversations. Yes, we need panels. Yes, we need presentations, but also able to just talk and share your thoughts. I think that we have less and less and less opportunities of that. The very core of conversations is kind of dying, right? We are also used to just texting and short messages, that the whole dialogue piece, the personal dialogue piece, is almost dying. So we are very happy. I mean, invite us. We are very happy to come and have sessions with your students. We're very happy for you to take this with you. This model that we talk about, the 3 C's, we are very happy for you to replicate it. There is no IP on this. Don't worry. You can just remember us all the time and come back and say, yes, we'll use this at Risewell Summit. But please use it. This is exactly what we want, that you have a takeaway from here when you finish with this session. And it's not just another panel you listen to at all. So thank you very much, Vimla. And as I said, there are many other, Priya says we need to make students realize the importance of life and how fortunate we are to be alive. Absolutely. And sometimes people think of this as gyan, How do you change gyan into something that they feel like, oh, wow, this is so true, and that is the magic we need to bring into the lives of us, our children, our students, and of course, our institutions. So thank you for putting. Please keep those comments coming, and we're very happy to keep picking on them as and when they come in. Yes, Sohani, come in. I can see you're waiting to come in.
No, so this is, I mean, sorry, but this is just a little bit on the lighter note. Okay, Karan, I'm not digressing, but because you said about the WhatsApp messages and things like that, our English language, which we were taught in school, has gone for a toss. Thanks to WhatsApp messages, our spellings are no more spellings, everything is just shortcut. And so it just so happened that I once was addressing one of my seniors, and she said that, Swani, I thought your English was good, I don't know what's happened. What are you doing? It's gone drastically down. I mean, if you were in school, you would have got negative marks right by now. So just to, just a
I
lighter
think
note.
I think you deserve a round of applause for just having the courage to admit that we as adults itself fail. Why are we pointing out the
True.
what you call it failures of students and children when we
Yeah.
ourselves, are struggling with so many things? And if we are struggling with this, then what more should our students be feeling? And thank you, Swani, for pointing. I mean, kind of giving us that opportunity to understand this, because honestly, we are the role models, right? And they say, and we're talking about how to motivate, and we're talking about how to make them internalize, but the truth is we are the role models, right? And they will absorb what they see first than what
Yeah.
they hear, right? We can go on telling them things like we said about the gyan, but if we can walk the talk, then our students are definitely going to be a lot more receptive to what we do. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah, as they say, no, lead by example. I guess we need to do that too, And
Very
one
true.
more
Yes.
point, one quick point, just 10 seconds I'm going to take,
Sure, sure,
I really feel that children, need to understand emotion. They need to get connected to their emotions, which they keep to themselves, absolutely bottled up. And I somehow feel, if in our education, if dealing with your emotions and understanding your emotions is becomes a part of the of our education system in every school, right from, as sirs put it, from KG to whatever level they go up to. I think it's so important, because when you understand, then you know how to deal with. Yeah. Thank you for listening to me.
absolutely. And it's not only about understanding, it's about connecting to it, right? And the problem is, and Natasha has pointed that out so well, saying that the challenge is climate change is something I can't change. Like we feel like it has nothing to do with us. It's something we cannot influence. It's something that we cannot, do anything with. And I think that's the other big thing. How do you help them make that connect on a daily basis and bringing it into their life? As one more other, post is saying, again, Vimla talks about economic conditions are primary, and that's the reality. It's very easy for you and me to sit here and say, oh, they should be doing this, they should be doing that, they should be conserving water, they should be growing more trees. I mean, it's very easy for us to talk, right? But walking that talk is another ballgame altogether. And sometimes the financial situations don't really allow that to happen. And that we're seeing more and more where it comes to fossil fuels, which is also used a lot in villages, etc. How do you take them away from them, because the cost alternatives are high? So yes, thank you for going on posting. I think now we're coming to a time when we need to start thinking about moving into capabilities. Yes, the challenges are many. Yes, we have got our work cut out for us, and we need to do a lot, but we have to take the first step. I always tell my team, the only way to eat an elephant is bite by bite, bite by bite. And that's what we need to do. So if the challenges are many, the steps, it all starts with the first step, right? So yeah, please, again, I would like to open it up. If you are doing something really special, you're doing something that you feel
I
has been
I
a
have a
good,
question.
yes, finally, Deepali.
Deepali.
Go ahead,
Okay, so
Deepali.
I was
Yeah.
been patiently waiting. This is going a great conversation. I have a question to Ebin, basically, because he said he was one working, being an educator for 12 years and moving into for education. I certainly feel no teachers have this lack of confidence in accepting that educational sustainability education. That confidence, like Ebin, you said you've been part of framing so many things. Now, taking from policy and making into implementation stage, the teachers play a very important role there. So, if you want to guide the teachers who are there, there are so many teachers joining us today from different parts of the India, and as well as few parts from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. There are few teachers joining from there. So, can you just tell them how we can build those? Can you give these problem solutions to them? How we can solve that problem? You are on mute, Ebin. Huh.
So, basically, one good advantage which I felt recently is the policies on a side like where incorporating sustainability education into the curriculum, which makes the
Yeah.
teacher's life more easier. So when it comes with an EVS subject, uh, like they are more convenient to teach, right? But at the same time, creating a like interactive session or interactive lesson plan around this is a biggest challenge from a
Yeah.
teacher's angle. So if a
Yeah.
teacher can work with like if the teacher is from a like if the school is in a rural village and like if we can connect the local sustainability problems and bring that into classrooms, and teacher can build the engaging interactive lesson plan or activities around it sustainability, then that might be the best way of doing it. Second is like creating a small like garden in the campus, like or even a small farm in the campus, like a small agri farm. So Kerala did this practice, and there was huge results coming out. Like kids started learning about playing with mud, like connecting somewhere and plugging that into the sustainability education. And then
Do
uh, also there is an important part like creating like a learning environment which values sustainability, like even from whether the teacher is teaching maths or physics, whether there is a supportive learning environment which is valuing sustainability inside the classroom. Like it doesn't need to be like each teacher. So and also a collaborative environment, like when it comes to
y-
school, there has to be a collaborative environment between the teachers, administrator, or the wider community, who can promote the sustainability education as a overall. Also
so
using technology to enhance, like lot of I recently found UNICEF developed a small Amar Chitra Katha, like maybe a comic kind of book to
mm,
like lazy man's guide to be sustainable. So there are a lot of resources available. Taking this technology resources and taking into the classroom will really help the students.
yeah,
Also,
you made so many valuable points, Ebin. You know, having a multidisciplinary approach, like you are suggesting teachers that not one subject is related to the sustainability education. Every subject has its own angle to look at the. If I'm getting what you said is in a
good,
right
good,
way,
good, good,
that
good,
you
yeah.
want to do that, and the collaboration. Karen will throw light on this, that she is the one who always keeps saying ki we have to do lot of work through collaboration. So the teachers, this is a real good advice from Ebin, that if you want the sustainability existing in your classroom, then now you have to do a real experiential teaching learning process in the classroom. Thank you so much, Ebin. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you. I think there is so many messages coming in the chat that we need to start addressing them, but we also need to start talking, as I said, about the capabilities and then, of course, the collaboration. Yes, Dipali, I am 100% believer in collaboration. I think though that is easier said than done again. I mean, because if you don't have win-win collaborations, they don't last very long. They're not sustainable, as we say, right? So we need to have sustainable relationships too, which last for a long time. And that requires partnership, that requires a lot of understanding, requires win-win propositions. So how do we go about solving some of these challenges? What would be some of these first steps we can take to start improving our sustainability education, right? And one of the biggest questions that came up during the Nobel Prize Teachers Summit was, how do you make climate action a reality in our daily lives? Because only then will it not be an abstract notion, but something that is personal and internalized as well. Yeah. So, any thoughts from anyone? More than happy to hear that, please. Go ahead.
See, it's more about, see, when my colleague Kavita gave a nice comment that I want to start with that. The teachers should become the sustainability practitioners first, right? So, in one of the your talks, you said, Karen, the teacher should be the role model. They should be the change that the children see and follow. So they should become the responsible practitioners, and in order to adopt the climate action every day. It is so we need capsules. Like for example, try to come to school in a bicycle, coming by a motorcycle or by bus or car. It's a simple climate action that we can take, and we can save so much of fossil fuel in a month, right? Similarly, switch off the lights and fans when it is not in when you're not in the room. Keep your air conditioners in 21 or 22 instead of 17 or 18, right? So these are small nugget size activities or tangible things that you give them that will first motivate them to take bigger steps. This is something easy, low hanging fruits we would call it. They can easily go adopt. Then slowly they can get into the more serious climate action. So first, as an individual, what are the behaviors and habits that I should change? The teacher should practice this and then start influence the children through that.
Those were, I think, great practical tips to start bringing climate action into your daily lives. And I know Shirin is working a lot on climate justice as well, being a lawyer. Would you like, Shirin, to come in and maybe say something, or what do you mean by justice in sustainability terms, and how does that impact our world, maybe? Shirin? Yeah, Shirin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, of course, justice in terms of sustainability and in terms of how sustainability is imagined as well as implemented in the larger ethos is something that is a point of discussion, because a lot has not been thought of about sustainability and the inequality in also having sustainability or having the resources to even think about and ponder about or inculcate sustainability in your daily lives. So I feel there's a huge inequality, there's a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots when it comes to sustainability as well. If you look at climate action and if you look at the impact of climate change, the most affected are those who are marginalized, who are living at the margins of society, who do not have access to resources, who are actually in areas on earth which are devoid of resources, which shows a huge inequality in terms of the impact of climate change on the larger population. What we should be doing is, on a policy level, the government has to care more about the marginalized communities, it has to care more about the have-nots and create policies that are favorable towards them. That should be point number one in our policy agenda. Point number two, we ourselves as communities and as people with more resources should be empathetic to the conditions of people who are suffering from from the changes of climate, um, from the impact of climate change, and which is hazardous in many parts of the world. I think we are not doing enough as people with resources when it comes to bridging this gap, this inequality that exists in our society today. The third thing is that we're not even thinking enough about this inequality, and we feel climate change is something that is invisible in the air. It does not bother everybody on a daily basis, but in fact, it's seeping into our daily lives at a much larger scale than ever imagined in the history of humankind. Today we are experiencing hot conditions in areas which never had a hot climate, and we are seeing freezing temperatures in areas where there was never that kind of a cold weather. So we have to be better prepared as communities. So from a justice perspective, there's a huge injustice that there is in this space, and I think government, civil society, academia are not doing enough even to address it, not being empathetic enough to this gap.
Sometimes I think we forget and don't think about in terms of climate justice. So we talk about climate action, we talk about climate change, but we don't think in terms of climate justice. And for us, as part of the Rise World Summit this year, peace and justice is a very important portion and a focus area that we want people to think about. So thank you for bringing that in. That's really amazing. And yeah, I'm sorry, somebody was going to come in. Yes, Doctor. Please.
Karen?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Although our roundtable has shifted to capabilities, so I want to raise an issue. I don't have an answer for the audience. Is a what is called food for thought. Is that connects all C like challenges, collaboration, and capabilities, and all together. Like when these SDGs were coined, that was not actually the digital age. It was just beginning or whatever. Maybe it was not at that level what we are witnessing now. And now we have a kind of a explosion. It's called a data explosion, information. And with due respect to the teachers, like when you give some assignment or like a part of the teaching, okay, read about this, go to the internet, and there are information. There's a download. They get lost into information, and information is not precipitating into knowledge. Okay, so I mean now here this is one challenge in the information age. I mean the students they do not know which one to focus on, which information will be useful. So teachers or mentors' duty will be to filter it out, and secondly, to handle the so much of information explosion, we need we need collaboration. So basically, and then they like collaborate with those who are very good in IT and like information technology, so they can help the mentors or the teachers that yes, this is the students' project. They have collected so much information on this particular SDG sustainability, and then this is something will be useful. These are fake. These are something like that. This is going to be a big problem in coming years, like to handle the information and bringing that to the classroom. And when you give that, because now we hear about that carbon zero, so less textbook, less paperwork, more digitization, and then this is going to happen. This is a challenge. We need collaboration, and we need lots of capability to handle this information in classroom teaching. I do not have the answer. I just raise this issue for all of you to think,
Yeah.
and maybe when you think, we come out with suggestions.
I think that's the purpose
Absolutely.
of this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the purpose.
Absolutely. Karen, you remember last Nobel Prize Teacher Summit was on flood of information. And it is now connected this year to SDGs, climate action.
Correct.
So yeah, your point is taken, and we might come up with good solution at the end.
Yeah, no, we'll be
Anybody
happy
wants
to share links to some of the Nobel Prize Teacher Summit, workbooks, etc. They may still be alive, especially from last year.
Yes.
So, why don't we share that, and hopefully that will give
Yeah,
some
yeah.
answer. I mean,
We are
nobody can
sharing
give-
the resources.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, challenges can keep coming in. Don't worry, but let's go ahead. Yes, Kirtana, yeah, you wanted to come in. Please come in.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about so adding to what others have spoken. I think what we need to build is empathy, because you see, children have a lot of care. Children, young students, which kind of slowly weans away as they grow up, right? So one of the we talked about sustainability. Sustainability is not just about environment. It also has the social part of it. And as Professor Shireen pointed out, people worst affected by sustainability are often the poor and the marginalized communities. So different people who are working passionately towards sustainability have different goals. For some, it is the people part. For some, it is the nature part. At least for me personally, it has always been about dying pandas, global warming, melting the sea ice that pandas die. For some, it could be about and also habitat loss that is driving a majority of animals into extinction. For some, it could be really the injustice that is in the world because of that is caused directly by climate change and also indirectly, right? So, for all of this, to be involved in all of this, there needs to be empathy, and that needs to be built at the school level, right? So, that is what I think we need to be doing to take sustainability forward.
Great. And using the word forward, we need to move forward. Okay, I think the conversation has really begun to get interesting because we are all realizing what are the challenges. It's not going to be easy, but we need to take that first step, as I said earlier. So, it'll be nice to know, as I said, what are the capabilities is exactly this. What are some of the steps you are taking to incorporate sustainability education or to meet the requirements as per the NEP 2000? If anyone would like to share what they're doing in their schools, their institutes, etc., would be wonderful to hear. Please.
So maybe I can go ahead. What
Yeah,
we
I
do at our campus is the schools which I go. We started building small labs where they can come around. Uh, they can think in any ideas, and we try to use STEM to solve that problem, whether it's a waste management at their campus, or even like water management. I remember a school from somewhere near Thuthukudi came to me, a student who had an idea. Uh, like during rains, like mostly there are a lot of water drainage happening, and it never goes for the right way. So he created a model for creating water harvesting in the campus, like in the school campus. So he saw the problem statement of like draining or drainage of water or during rainy seasons. So then he identified, okay, like we were able to bring him like thought process to design a model to do water harvesting technology or like solutions inside the campus. He did it, and he was luckily he was one among the top 10 winners in the last ATL marathon happened. So like a student idea, like if we can bring a STEM or any other technological system to it, and like if they implement there, and if they see the result, it's not only that student get aware or educated, it's the entire campus get educated. So maybe like few small experiments using the campus facilities might be one good way where we can teach uh, sustainability in any schools. Hey, you are on mute.
Karen, you're on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
Because I think one of the problems with technology is people think of this as very high end tech, and it's a lot of technology comes in many shapes and sizes, right? Innovation happens in the simplest things possible. So yes, you're right. We definitely need to bring in technology. We definitely need to talk about STEM, but there is also much more innovation that is possible through many other small efforts. So I'm going to I've just created a poll, okay, very quick. Have you started sustainability education in your institute, right? Would be great to understand what it is like right now in the audience. Yeah, if y'all could quickly just take the poll, and we'll of course continue the conversation, and then I will publish the results of that poll. So, but do take the poll. It'll be really nice to know what's happening in this group right now as we speak. Yeah. Great. So thank you so much, Evan, for sharing that. Anybody else would like to share something that they have done with NEP 2020 and or sustainability education by itself or SDGs, okay, programs and teaching SDGs in schools? I would love to hear about those. Yes, please.
So I'll go. So At OP Jindal Global University, we have an entire school that is dedicated to environment and sustainability, where there are several courses that are on sustainability. We have top environmentalists who are teaching courses, curated courses according to contemporary times. And as a matter of fact, a lot of students are takers of these courses because of the increased interest in environment and sustainability studies amongst this generation as well. About 10 years back or even 5 years back, there wasn't a peak in the interest of students when it came to taking these non-traditional courses of environment. And today, environmental studies has become one of the most popular courses among students who are graduating these years, graduating from schools these years. Yes.
Which university is
Awesome.
that?
We
Which university is that, Adam?
this is
Hi, sir. So it's OP Jindal Global University, which is in Sonipat,
OP
Haryana,
Jindal.
Institute of Eminence.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, Jindal.
Our Vice Chancellor is Professor Dr. C. Raj Kumar, and our flagship school is Jindal Global Law School.
Nice. Great.
Oh.
Awesome. Awesome. Is anybody teaching? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Natasha. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So we teach climate literacy in schools. Weekly, we take one period, and from class 3 to class 12. And for 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe some 20 sessions, whereas for 3 to 8, almost 20 sessions in a year. And starting from introduction to climate change to causes, effects, and what are all the various climate actions they can take. And there is a year-long program that we run at the schools. And for the colleges, we have a standalone course. I mean, it's a certificate course, basically to sensitize and equip how mixed solid waste is causing climate change, and how much of money is being spent on handling the mixed solid waste, and how our behavior can change, which can also save money for the governments, and also the effects of climate change will get reduced because of their action.
Thank you for
I-
sharing that. I just before we go to you, Dr. Kumar, please give me 1 second. I just wanted to look at the results of the poll, and 75% say that they have actually started sustainability education in their institute, which is awesome, right? Which is really awesome. 75% is saying that. However, okay, I do want to flag this out, and of course, I'm not going to ask this question, nor am I asking any answers from it. But when we say we have started sustainability education, is this, like we spoke from the challenges, is this about theory and materials and learning, or is this about actual practice, maybe in communities or in their homes or in the school itself, right? But in practice, where you're not just teaching them in the class as another subject, but actually making them experience it and then taking it forward. So I think that's just something to give you to think about and ponder about in terms of your programs. But it'll be nice for us to understand that also as a reform. Yes, Wani, please come.
So continuing to what you had asked us, what we have done or what are the changes, we are making as in to make the education sustainable. I feel the one aspect where every student needs to learn is about money, financial literacy. And that's something that we started with our students. And it's not only about the students in urban or rural or anyone. I think any and every student needs to know about financial literacy, as in how they can look after their money. Okay. So what happens is, I'm only talking about India and being in Indian society. We are so used to being dependent. Either as children, we are dependent on our fathers or on elder brothers. Then we get married, we are dependent on our husbands, for that. But now we have really brought about this kind of thinking into the students, that each and every child needs to know, whether you're a girl child or boy child, you need to know what financial literacy is all about. And you will not believe it, Karan, we did this in a college in Mumbai, and there were about 75 students online with us, and at least 70 students out of that thanked us, and more than 50% of the students wrote that we would like to have more sessions like this, because this is something which we didn't even know existed. Like, I didn't know that there was a girl child who said that I didn't know that I could look after my money so easily. There are so many government schemes that are there. There are so many different aspects to financial literacy. So this is one thing that we did, because we feel that whatever said and done, money is extremely important in today's day and
Absolutely.
age.
And it's so empowering, right? When you give somebody that thought that, oh, you can manage your own money and you're responsible for it, it can be just so empowering. So thank you for sharing that. We also do a financial literacy program, and I think Deepali is hosting a session on that separately. So maybe Sohani and Deepali, you need to have a chat later on as part of our collaboration. As part of our collaboration.
Yes,
Definitely.
all for
Definitely.
collaboration. All for
Absolutely.
collaboration.
Great. So we're coming to the end of our session. So I want to, do get a few more points in before we come to a close. And I'm sure all of you also want to. One is also, the second is, do you teach, put up another poll, do you teach SDGs in your institute? I think that's another very, very important part of sustainability education. And it's really sad that many students don't even know what is the United Nations, and leave alone talking about SDGs, which many teachers do not know about SDGs. I we've done a lot of work in teaching SDGs in schools, and I was absolutely shocked when I heard teachers saying that they had absolutely no clue about it. And I would not say shock would be the wrong word, but I was dismayed, let's put it that way, right? That we need to build the capacities, we need to create more awareness, and definitely hope that an event like the Rise World Summit is helping to do that. So yeah, sure, Swani, come in, please. But yeah, please respond to
Sorry,
the poll.
just 10 seconds, but because you were talking about SDGs, as you were saying, so there are a lot of them who don't even know the full form of SDG. What is SDG is a different thing, but the full form SDG kya hai? What is SDG? Ye nahi pata unko. So yes, that's very, very important, Karan. Extremely important.
Okay, meanwhile, Karan is taking the poll. We have two actually experts joining through the other stream where we are not able to move them to the speaker some due to technical glitch. So one of them have shared his views on a video, and we will mirror that soon with the help of Deepak. So whenever it's ready, we will in, we will have Sunil Sood, who is a national convener for Mission Sustainable India. He is doing a fantastic job with regards to bring, his mission is like that. So even if you just go and search Sunil Sood, you will find that whatever related to the part of SDGs, uh, inculcation that into younger minds and younger generation is done by him. Yeah. So I guess he is there.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sunil Sood from Mission Sustainable India. I'm unable to join on laptop, but I've been listening to you all and also posted my views on the chat box. Thanks for having invited me. I would like to thank Deepali and Karen madam and others for giving me this opportunity. And I also wanted to tell in one point in brief that we should not take any stand in isolation or in a silo approach. We should take everything in a comprehensive manner, in a holistic manner, because everything is interlinked. So what we have done in our Mission Sustainable India, we have addressed this silo approach and try to club all activities in a simplified manner, that every activity is to be aligned with 5 P's of sustainable development. That is, every activity should be economically viable, socially acceptable or agreeable, environmentally benign, and should foster peace and partnership. It is in line with 5 P's of UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we have prepared vision documents in which we have started with citizenship, sustainable governance, sustainable bureaucracy, sustainable judiciary, sustainable mass media, and then going ahead with other activities like sustainable habitat, health and well-being, education, then technical topics like energy, water, manufacturing, everything, tourism, we have covered under those vision documents. So my request is that if please go through those documents and we can work together as Karen Madam told that we should take up some project like we have already done in Bhopal for promoting sustainable education. It's named as a Grah Shiksha Kendra. So my humble request to you all is to kindly help us in validation and also in promotion of these activities so that we can all jointly work together. So it will be a great help to us, to our mission Sustainable India. We are a group of mostly energy management professionals who have taken up this task. Since 3 years we have been working on this mission, and with our own efforts we have been taking up. We have all everything is funded, self-funded, and our expertise is shared, and we have come out with the vision documents. So I think you might like this our approach, and there are many.
Okay, I guess we lost that. But uh, if Dr. Sunil Sud, if you are listening to us in the live streaming, do drop the links for the rest of the teachers so that they can go through the material. And definitely, it is mirroring our thoughts, our organization. Th- Yes, my voice is echoing. Is it echoing for you people also? Because it's echoing to me. Any which way. So it's mirroring our organization thought and Karen's vision that nothing is going to get bigger and better without collaboration. So I guess our next segment is that, Kiran.
Yes, absolutely. And again, look at the polls first before we move ahead. And yes, it is 67% are teaching SDGs already in their institute. So that is awesome. And so that gives us some hope that there are some teachers. But of course, some part of it is we're teaching to the converted or we're preaching to the converted, right? So the teachers here definitely already believe in sustainability education, which is why they're joining us in this call, but there are many out there who are not doing it. And one of the things that we want to suggest as a solution, as part of the capability conversation, is start creating buddy programs. Buddy program, and this is also related to what Shirin spoke about climate justice. Schools that have a lot more resources can partner with those schools who do not. And it is a huge learning. It's not just that we are giving, we also get, because in giving we gain and we get from it as well. So the more we can create buddy programs between our schools and those schools that have challenged backgrounds, I think it'll make a big difference in pushing sustainability education. It'll make a big difference in making it more real for our students as to what is the impact of climate on our environment and then on people, right? So I think that's one suggestion that I have in terms of maybe collaborations, in terms of capability, and we are very happy to partner with you as well on these issues. Yeah. Are there any other suggestions for collaborations? Are there any other opportunities for collaborations? Would be wonderful to hear from all of you, and then we can start looking at closing and saying the final round of words. Yeah, please.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
In Pune University, I have a lab to which we are working on the stress biology. Mainly, our the focus SDG is life on land. Basically, we are working on the drought, the desiccation, stress, and we reach out to many of the villages affected with the drought, and we have experimental animal. So basically, if anybody wants to collaborate, I am welcome. And also in Doha, Qatar, where I am now, I have engaged my students for beach cleaning, and we go to semi-desert area because after FIFA World Cup, there are lots of garbage and all that. So I'm promoting this, the awareness to school children, mainly with the Asian schools, Philippine school, Sri Lankan school, other than Indian schools are getting a huge response, and that's a challenging task for me. This is a branch campus of Pune University, India, and reaching out to the Asian diaspora is something new for me, and I hope I live up to that expectation. And for any such ventures, I can always be a kind of an intellectual support where I learn from you all, where others who will collaborate, and because collaborators should have a mindset that they should be eager, they should come with an open mind, so that it's not that imposing your idea to your collaborator. It's like exchange of ideas and come out with the solution to challenges they both of them or like the collaborators feel like. So I'm always ready to be partner intellectually to anybody who wants to rope me.
Thank you very much for sharing it. Is there any way we can get Norina to speak, Deepali? Since she's not inside.
Okay. No, actually, I left a message also. She's not there.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
No problem. Then we can continue. So we're coming to the end, as I said. So very quickly, I do want to say a few words about, or maybe Deepali, why don't you say? I talk too much. Others should get a chance to talk. So why don't you talk a little bit about our the club and
Rise
also
to change.
yes, and the Rise to Change. Go ahead. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, so this Teachers for Movement, as Eric rightly said, it's one inspiration from Nobel Prize Teacher Summit. But this is what we are doing is Rise to Change clubs, again under the guidance of Kiran Shaiva, because it is her vision that every child has a right to educate in a proper way. So we have 5 things that we are focusing right now is sustainable development goals. Though we are taking sustainable development goals, but two are, again, we are focusing majorly is peace and climate change. Then we are also catering to entrepreneurship and financial literacy. So these are the 5 skills of Rise to Change programs that we are trying to build in the students through it- as Ebin also said, he is not there right now, but through a multidisciplinary approach, we are trying to incorporate all these things. The pattern is like we want children to come out with the problem and the solution. It is not something that we are pushing them to give something ready made and they will just do an activity as a part of club. It is going to be a lot of challenging tasks that we are trying to give it to them. And under this roof we are, as National Education Policy 2020 framework says, that all these skills needs to be given more important than the actual subject skills, because these are the things that are going to change their life. And this is again the Keron statement that we have to treat youth as not for the future, but they are the present. So youth is a present and we have to carve their future today. We can't say that there is a problem that is coming and then you go and chase for that problem later on. So that preparedness that we are trying to bring into the picture through this Rise World Summit, Rise to Change program. Kiran?
Thanks, Deepali. Yes, I do want to maybe add a little bit that line which I constantly say. You can see how much I say that so often that team is fed up of me. So they constantly say it's me saying it. Yeah. But honestly, I believe, if you talk to any institute, they'll always say we want to make our students leaders. And it's a wonderful vision. Absolutely. It's a great thing to make our students leaders, right? No doubt about it. But leaders of tomorrow will only happen when they are citizens of today. And that
Yeah.
is what I constantly try to put in. And of course, we have heard from others as well about sustainability coming as part of citizenship, and that's so true. So unless we teach our students citizenship today, how will they become leaders for tomorrow? So that's really our program all about. It's under our citizenship vertical. We have three verticals. We have partnerships, which is why the Rise World Summit is happening. We have entrepreneurship, where you will see a lot that we have done with entrepreneurs, and this is right from women entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, environmental entrepreneurs, transgenders, people with disability. We have sessions going to be happening on all of these, and of course, student entrepreneurship. So we do a lot on that. And then last but not the least is citizenship. So happy to collaborate with whoever would like to come forward. We are happy to share our knowledge, and we are always looking for ways to learn ourselves and improve our own programs as well. So it's always about give and take, and always about win-win relationships, right? So I'm going to ask our experts for one final round of last lines that they would like to our audience. I think they've been wonderful. The chats have been absolutely full. I'm sorry, I've given up now reading all of them because they're so brilliant and so great. But we will share it. We will have a report that will come out of it, and we will ensure that we do quote you and have these points put into it. So don't worry, nothing is ever waste with us. We definitely are sustainable. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to our experts for their last comments before we go to Kirtana for her closing remarks. Over to
Yes.
the rest of you. So Kirtana, wait for the last.
Thank you. Thank you. If I may start, thank you, Karan. Thank you, Idobro. Thank you, Dipali. I mean, you guys are really doing a brilliant, this is a fantastic initiative of getting us all together on this round table. And everyone out here, thank you so much. Right from our professor who's here to Mr. Natarajan, to Doctor who's joined us, and everyone who joined us, Eben who joined us. Thank you for your wonderful inputs. It was a real enlightening session. I really enjoyed it because I have learned so much today, and I have gained so much today. Thank you very much, Karen, for making me a part of this. It was really, really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Swan. Most welcome. Okay, who's going next?
Yeah. So kudos to again Idobro and his team and all the lecturers for putting up this initiative. And from this session, I see a lot of various components coming in. It's not only environment; it has to be looked into it holistically. Then Kirtana talked about the empathy, which is a very important component. So there is a big takeaway from this session. Um, my message to the teachers and the educators here is to, the word again, the internalize is the word that we have to use. Whatever it is, whether it is empathy or how climate change is going to affect the people in the lower strata and also the other animals. They don't even know why they are facing such consequences. That level they are in. So the empathy is very important element, I would say. The educators need to apply it among themselves, and they need to do some homework on equipping themselves before they go and deliver a session. And like Mr. Raghu said, it should not be just another subject like science or history or geography or math. You go and teach and come and you write an exam and pass. It is not an exam. It is about lifestyle changes. The teacher, one thing I want to quote. Recently, I saw a video. One inspirational speaker, her name is I think Chitra. She was talking when the teacher says fire, word fire in the classroom, then the students should feel fire. Oh my God, something happened to my skin. That kind of reaction should come from the students. So if they go with that kind of inspiration, then they will be able to influence the children to adopt sustainability so that we will have a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shirin, do you want to come in?
Yes, it's been a very, very enriching discussion. Thank you to all the co-panelists for bringing in their views and for expanding the discussion and also the perspectives in which we think about sustainability and we think about education at large. I believe that there's a long way to go, but the idea is that we have to start thinking and brainstorming about ways and means of overcoming the challenges that we have outlined. We are very good with outlining the challenges, but the solutions, the intervention, the implementation has to evolve over a period of time with discussions like the one we had today. And hopefully, this is not the last discussion we are having about it, and we can connect offline also to collaborate and cooperate with each other towards a common mission, which is sustainability. Thank you to the team at Idobro, Karen, of course, and Dipali for this humongous initiative of organizing such a stellar summit. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Vipma?
Yeah, thank you all, and it has been a very big learning experience for me, and listening to all of you. Karan, you always say you are talking too much. No, you talk sense. So a person who talks sense is like if somebody is talkative, it's nice to hear. And Dr. Sohani, you kick-started with provoking, the challenges, and then that was enough, like you set the stage. I think it is Natarajan, Mr. Natarajan, you told us that we talk about hands-on training and so on. You talk about minds-on training. So basically, and then Professor Shireen has, then Kirtana, Professor Shireen, Deepali, you people have taken out ourselves who are teachers and pedagogues outside the classroom, boundary of the classroom, and then started looking from the different perspectives. And and then I want to say one thing. It is not my words. Like it's a synthesis of things I read, and I they talk to students, and from different the lectures I imbibe is that we have only one life to live, and we have only one earth to sustain our lives. That's it.
Fantastic
Yeah.
note
Thank.
to kind of close the expert part of it. I before we go to Kirtana, I do have a couple of things to share with you. Number one is that I think there is still amazing comments on the chat, especially what Payal Saraf is speaking about how to integrate with art integration, sustainability education. I think definitely the more creative we are about using
Yeah.
tools, to teach, I think the better will be our results. So thank you, Payal, for sharing with us. And Yasmin Shroff, I think they do some amazing, and I think they have some wonderful workshops coming up in the summit agenda. I would strongly recommend you look at the agenda very closely. In fact, very closely because the print is really small. So if you look at the agenda in the platform, it will help you a lot easier to understand what all is happening. But do that because I think you'll find some amazing gem of workshops and also other smaller sessions that are happening. So do go and see that. And Yasmin, please definitely share these tools that you have, the simulation game you have. I'm sure a lot of teachers and educators will benefit from it. So thank you for sharing that. And you all know there is a resource bank, there's socials, there are many ways for you to share your information on the platform. It's like a real exhibition center where you can make announcement, you can share notes, you can share material. So please explore the portal and use it to its maximum benefits for everybody. Yeah. Last but not the least, I'm going to also remind you that right after this at 8:30, I'm sorry, it's very late, I know, but at 8:30 is another session on education because it's focused on the US, to be honest with you. The target audience is many of the US donors and foundations that are interested in education, and hence the timing has been done to suit them. But it is for implementation in India. So if you are working in education in India and you would like to connect with donors, funders, and other organizations who are working in education, more for the challenge background locations, then please do tune in for that because it'll be definitely another very interesting conversation. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and Kirtana, over to you. Unless Deepali, you have anything else to add in.
Yeah, can I, Kirtana, just 1 minute I'll take, because there are, many people we have to thank. I'll just finish it in 1 minute. So now I would like to thank especially to the principal Jayashree in Bandaraj and Dr. Sunita Magre. They are the one who actually pitched in with the idea of, having B.Ed and M.Ed budding teachers to this summit, and they have invited few of their teachers and students for this summit specifically. So they Jayashin Baraj is from Khandwala College of Education, and Sunita Magre is from Seva Sadan's College of Education. We do have Miss Sabah, Principal of Anjuman Islam, and Miss Ophelia, Principal of Uddar International School. We do like to mention Miss Norina, who is right now not there, but she was a big support for doing this. And then we have Miss Priya Fernandez from Rosa Mineral School, and Miss uh, Beena Vora from she's an educator and controller of examination. So all of you, thank you so much. There is Dhananjay, who is a YouTuber. We were not able to, take them chances, but Dhananjay, we will do something better with you. Uh, Whoever is there in the audience and listening, students and teachers, please go and have to visit his YouTube channel, Sustainability Simply Put, because he decodes the sustainability in a very simpler way that the that difficult thing of sustainability the child will understand. So yeah, that's my thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. Over to you, Kirtana, to summarize.
Yeah, thank you, Dipali, and thank you, Karan. So, yeah, so I would say the past 2 hours has been a lot of learnings personally for me. First of all, I'd like to thank Idobro and Rice World Summit for organizing a session, right? So, Teachers for Change, sustainability education is the need for the hour, and you've rightly brought it out, you know, in this summit. So, first of all, thank you for that, and thank you to all the panelists who are here today, who are all eminent professionals in your own fields. I'm sure it wasn't easy to take 2 hours out of your busy schedules to be here. So thank you everybody for coming and adding your knowledge today. So to quickly summarize today's session. So first we had Eric, who rightly pointed out the need for sustainable education in India, and why it is important to start right at the school level, right? Because that's how you actually mend people, you mend societies by starting at the school level. So we saw we had Dr. Bimalendu, who talked about how children actually follow the footsteps, about how an early education might uh, bring out better solution rather than tapping it at a high school level or at a higher secondary level. We had Mr. Narajan, who talked about how we need less of theory in school. It shouldn't be just another subject. It shouldn't be just another EVS or just another science subject, but we need practical education. So that was rightly pointed out. And it is also the need that the teachers themselves be sustainable practitioners so that the students follow. We had Mr. Eben talk about sustainability, as to say that sustainability is not just a climate problem, but it's an environment problem. And we had Professor Shireen, who pointed out that based on the environment, based on the social situations, sustainability can be very different to different people. And it is important to get them all, to address them all, right? And again, we also had Dr. Bimalindu talk about how environment is also related to public health, because, well, environment is going to affect all of us at all points, no matter who you are. You can be a rich, you can be a poor person, but environment is going to affect you. It is true that environment affects the injustice caused due to environment is greater to the people who are on the financially weaker side, but everybody's affected by environment at the end of the day, right? And rightly, Mr. Natarajan pointed that we have to start sustainability somewhere. Sustainability is this big topic. Sustainability is people, governments, environment. But we start with environment. And that's what we talked about. We had Dr. Suhani talk about the mental struggles of students. And it is important to address them, and it is important to form the bond between teachers and students, through which teachers will be able to imbibe good values, including that of sustainability, to all the students. And I think one of the very key points is to actually have the hands on in sustainability rather than it just being a theory subject. Ms. Rebin talked about how the lab in the school built a rainwater harvesting system. I guess I've heard a similar story wherein in a school there were no toilets. So a student actually went ahead and used water cans and built their own toilets, right? So innovation. So the student was able to do because the school was able to facilitate that. Local challenges require local solutions, but at the same time, we utilize the concepts of sustainability to do that, right? And we had Dr. Sunil Sood, who talked about Mission Sustainable India, how sustainability can be put into every single thing. So I think these are just some key points that I've noted down. Of course, there were a lot of happening. We cannot summarize 2 hours. In a we can go on about summarizing. These are just some of the few points that I have learned from today's session. And yeah, so as just because I used to be a student until recently, and I have moved on. I would say that, and rightly as Professor Shireen pointed out, sustainability is growing among the youth. And like Karen was saying, sustainability is not tomorrow's problem, it's today's problem. We should stop addressing today's students as tomorrow's leaders. They're already leaders. So while the sustainability is growing among the young population, and while a lot of elder generation are focusing on leading the change, the scale of solutions we have right now is just not enough, right? So I guess I would like to thank Idobro again for trying to bring up the scale, and hope that everybody that we had a lot of participants, and I saw that a lot of them were teachers or student teachers, and I hope all of you can put a little bit of sustainability education in your schools. It's a little things like Mr. Rajan pointed out, switch off the lights. I still remember we had to show our school lunch boxes to our teacher that we finished the lunch and then only go out. And then when I came to higher secondary, we had our correspondent. We were in the canteen. We had our correspondent who personally saw that we weren't wasting food. Right? We had sambar left. We had chutney left. We had to swallow the sambar like it was soup. So it's some small things that add up. So hope everybody who were in the session today had a lot of takeaways to go home, and hope you start following sustainability, and hope you start teaching that in your schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtana, for beautifully summarizing the total 2 hours conversation. As you said, it is not very easy, but at least you have aptly tried and done the closure to this, given the summation for this 2 hour conversation. Karen, do you want to add anything, or thank you?
Just a big thank you. And I also wanted to just quickly say that thank you very much, of course, Kirtana, for the way you summarized that. But I just want to say we are sorry we went over, but we did start late, number one. And number two, hopefully it was worth it, right? So we go with happy thoughts to really take this forward. And we wish all of you a great summit here now. But beyond the summit, we look forward to collaborate. Thank you all very much, and have a
Thank
great
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for
Two
joining.
hours, 2 hours just flew away, Karen. We didn't even realize that 2 hours have flown by.
People always tell me this, Vani. So the session is over. I mean, whoever wants to go and anybody wants to chat. But I tell you, whenever we tell people 2 hours, and they say, no, people don't stay for 2 hour panel discussions. It's too long, it's too boring. And when I tell them no, but at the Rise World Summit, it just whiz past. People don't believe it. And now, of course, yeah.
Me too. I also felt that. I was like, 2 hours, really? 2 hours? But it just flew by. Thank you.
Yes,
it was
yes.
so enriching.
You in the chat box you wrote 2 hours. Where did it go? Let me tell you, in the classroom or like lecture hall on such topic, which is a sort of quote unquote dry topic, it becomes anticipated as boring. But I agree. I with Shivani that how the time has grown. I can say only thing: good things, and very soon.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. And of course, look forward to more opportunities to
And
visit.
and
Incidentally, I used to teach as well, right? So I was a visiting faculty for 8 years. And my
Wow.
things, my students used to be very clear that if you want to come to my session, you're welcome to come at any time if you think it's really worth your time. But yes, once you come inside, you're my student and you'll do what I want you to do.
and let me tell on behalf of the organizers that among the audience actually nobody left, nobody slept because that constantly I can see in the
Yeah,
chat box. So that means
correct.
that everybody was active. That's why that nobody slept.
I, exactly, exactly. I
And
think
thanks
we
to
all.
Deepali, I will take this opportunity. I was you were instrumental to bring me here, and I'm privileged actually. I'm very fortunate to be
Thank
with
you
you.
so much, sir. It's my honor to bring you on this platform. Um, you know that
I think
I
we need to
have
go
very
right.
high. Yeah,
And nice to
2
get
minutes
introduced to
on
all
this
of you.
platform.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Would love
you.
to
Take
connect with
care.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
once
you.
again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shireen.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody. Bye,
Katrina.
bye, bye.
Bye.